I'd like to wish everyone in the Devers community an anniversary, a happy 60th anniversary of the Eye Institute. The reason I decided to come to Portland, Oregon and be at Devers Eye Institute is because Devers is a very unique place. One of the aspects of Devers that I think is really remarkable in an eye institute that's not affiliated with the university is the commitment that they have to not just indigent clinical care, but also to research and education. And those three goals are really remarkable.
I always think of education as a prerequisite for good clinical care. And here's how I think it works. I think that patients bring to you problems and present really important questions that you try to answer. And they're often answered in a research setting. You're involved and you study or try new things. And then you have to deliver that back to the clinic. So it's a virtuous circle. And the only way that circle gets closed is with education.
To be able to have almost all subspecialties represented under one roof where consultations can happen almost effortlessly between different providers really helps create a well-rounded educational environment for the residents where glaucoma is just a staircase away, and oftentimes not even that. We get to work with oculoplastics providers, with retina, uveitis, and so the ability to bounce ideas and interesting patients off of attendings, subspecialty attendings is invaluable for the residents to learn and to have those kind of deeper educational experiences that come with subspecialty representation.
You've got to transmit what you know, and perhaps more importantly, what you don't know, to future generations so that they can take the ball and run with it and find out the answers to the questions that exist at the time.
I really owe my career to Devers, not only clinically, not only in terms of research or science, but also administratively. And I would never be in the position I'm in now without the footing that I received in Portland at Devers Eye Institute.
The key component about a truly great educational program is that it instills empathy in those who touch that program, and they carry with that empathy is so expansive that it also extends to an inclusiveness in everything that they undertake.
Devers, in the almost 21 years that I spent in Portland, went from a small research laboratory in vision science to something magnificent. And it was really fun to see the transition. And it's literally known around the world for contributions, biomechanics, in glaucoma care, in diagnostics, in the biostatistical analysis of patient data. And the research at Devers always played off of patient need. And because of that, it was always quickly translatable, always relevant, it attracted funding, and it really took Devers from 0 to 60 in a remarkably short period of time.
Most traditional eye research and biomedical research is done at a medical school or a university. And it's incredulous to me. I'm incredulous that Devers has contributed so much outside of a university system, that we've created the endowment and the excellence and the expertise, the knowledge, the innovation to contribute in so many areas of ophthalmology.
We recruited the first patient nationally into the optic neuritis treatment trial, and we recruited more patients than any other center in the country.
Advances in science take place in today's world incrementally. for the most part. But there have been a lot of those increments, particularly in the early years with the retina trials. Those retina trials led to a revolution in the treatment both of diabetic retinopathy and macular degeneration. And Devers was not only a pioneer, but one of the major contributors to those national studies.
I was willing to take the chance of leaving an academic career for one that was focused in a non-academic environment with a very robust capability of supporting my research interests. And I have stayed here for these 15 years, very happily as a result of that.
On the cornea service here, without the support of Devers Eye Institute, we would not have been able to develop a method of corneal transplantation, which has really revolutionized the entire field throughout the world. Now, patients throughout the world that need a corneal transplant don't have to wait a year or two for good vision. They only wait a week or two.
When I arrived here, I was doing very basic science, and it involved three-dimensional reconstruction of post-mortem tissues. And we built tremendous capabilities for doing that in a way that hadn't been done previously, such that in today, if I have a patient in clinic, I can bring them over to an instrument that images them and what we call parameterizes their data using strategies that we originally described to do so. And that's very meaningful to me, and it's generally it's very meaningful to the patient as well.
Research does a number of incredible things. Obviously, there's the hope that we're going to find something tangible that's going to benefit our patient population. But it also forces you to innovate, to think, to change, to be malleable, to keep on top of the literature. It has so many implications. It attracts the brightest people who are most making an effort to change the world.
What Legacy has provided for me is the ability to build a research program and have the resources to hire new scientists before I had funding for them, before they had funding for themselves, and foster that in a manner that has led us to position ourselves to do really world-class science. In New Orleans, I had taken care of many, many indigent patients on the glaucoma service, and it meant a great deal to me also to know that Devers uses a very large portion of its endowment to support indigent care.
Cuando estaba más joven, trabajé en un lugar de donde se hacía el acero, y yo pienso que esto fue lo que me dañó los ojos, que me cayó cataratas. Ay, no podía leer, no podía caminar. Si podía caminar, tenía que ir intentándolo de poco a poquito. Ahora, gracias a Dios, camino, veo las letras muy pequeñitas, pero no muy cerquita, lo tengo que ver más lejos, pero lo veo bien clarito, gracias a Dios. Bien, gracias a Dios, bien atendido, gracias a Dios, todo bien. Todas las personas que me atendieron, todo fue bien, gracias a Dios.
I believe that when research, education, and the clinic are merged, that's what produces the best clinicians.
It's a place that talented, smart doctors want to be. And I think that just builds up the facility and the reputation and makes Devers a stronger, more kind of comprehensive place to have eye care happen.
And I was diagnosed with Fuchs around that time. You have a surgery and an institution here in a particular place in the world, among very few institutions that are performing this kind of transformative surgery at a very high level. What you don't tell people enough about is the transformative value to someone like me, people in the arts or people that are using their eyes at a higher level in the service, we hope, of humanity just as much.
Legacy's played an incredible part of our lives. It's where we go for our own medical care, and we have our choice of anywhere in the country, if not the state. And it's been so important in terms of our careers and what it does for the community. So we're thrilled that we can support Legacy, and like many of our donors, wish that we could do more.
And so understanding that it takes a lot of money and a lot of smart people to get a patient in the door and then get an outcome. I mean, the transformation of this surgery is what people need to understand if they're considering it. It's not just going to fix your vision, it's going to change your life. I'm the luckiest guy walking.
I'd like to say thank you, first of all, for allowing me to be a part of this institution for nearly 30 years now. And thank you for your support of Devers Eye Institute. Happy 60th anniversary. Thanks again.